So welcome to the lecture number 34 of the machine learning course. In this session, we are going to talk about the sequence modeling, particularly into the neural networks. That is our subject matter. We are reading this. We have started this topic from the last class. So all right, let me tell you the idea. The idea is this: that let's assume that you have developed a system, a ML based system that can tell you that whether you should go to see a movie or not. Makes sense? That you have developed a system that can tell you that whether you should see a movie or not. So how this system would be developing? You would be developing this system. You would be considering some factors such as who are the actors of the movie, what is the rating of that particular movie, what is your interest in that type of movie, do you have money to purchase tickets, etc., and some external factors such as what is the regulation, whether COVID situation is fine or not. So those things are the system is going to consider, and it is going to give you the answer that whether you should go and see the movie or not. But the issue is this, that every time the system gives you the same answer. Means if I ask you that if I ask from this particular system that whether should I go to the movie, and based on these factors it can tell you that yes, you should go. Next day if I ask, again it would tell that yes, you can go. Again next day it is also going to tell me yes. So how many times I am going to see the same movie? Why the system is not considering that I have used this system for 3-4 times, and every time it has says me yes. Why it is not considering that I have seen the movie 5 times? Then at this particular scenario it should tell don't go to the movie. So you can see that there is a strong problem in this kind of system when you deploy this kind of system into the real life scenario. Real life scenario want to take care of the what has been done earlier, but the model still now by which we were actually working is not like that. So can you see the issue that is there? Till now we have only talked about these kind of classification system that only consider something and tell you the answer, but they don't have any sequence. What is the sequence of the actions that are going to happen into the account? Okay, so that is very interesting that we should utilize these kind of sequential things, and there are a lot of application of the sequence data. Okay, and there are various places where we encounter these kind of data. Few examples, four broad categories I have put it over here. One is the sequence prediction, where you want to tell that what is going to happen next. For example, if I tell you that these things are there, these values are there, and I ask you that what would happen late in the next time. For example, stock market prediction, weather forecasting, product recommendation. You have purchased these kind of item. What item I should offer you so that you can purchase next? Sequence classification. There are some sequences such as DNA sequences, anomaly detection, something that somebody is going to do. And if somebody is doing these kind of action, whether he is a fishy person or not. So these kind of things are also interested. Sometimes we want to do the sequence generation, such as we want to, the text is a sequence. If I jumble up the words, then they make no sense. So text generation, music generation, image captioning, all these things are important. Sequence to sequence prediction. Sometime, for example, there is a sequence and you want to produce another sequence, such as if it is something, somebody is speaking something in Hindi, you want to translate into the English or French or any other language. So this is the sequence to sequence translation, where you want to change one sequence to another sequence. So multiple such things are there. So that's why sequence are very common to our life, and they are very important. Very important thing that I wanted to tell you over here. So if you want to solve this kind of problem, you should consider that everything is data, because whatever is coming to us is a data. And what happens that if a database is given to you, you just consider that how the data is given to you. So in the database, what happens that every row, for example, if I say that this particular row, so multiple represent an item, and every item has various what attributes. It has various attributes. Every item has various attributes. I am going to bring your focus to the size of this particular thing. What is the size of this particular thing? So you know that the size would be dependent upon how many attributes are there. Let's assume there are 10 attributes. Every attributes 2 bits, for example, to represent into the memory. So total number of bits required is only 20. And this is true for this item, this item, this item. For every item in my database, this is true. Okay. But in the sequences, this is the biggest problem with the sequences. In the sequences, we don't have these kind of size thing. For example, if if there is a text, for example, if somebody is giving me a text, so first text and second text, they all are going to be of the different size. Okay, they are going to be of the different size. Sometimes it is not, I cannot say that you communicate this message in only this many words only. Somebody can use lesser number of words, somebody can take larger number of words. But if you want to consider this sequences, so most of the time the size of sequences is not going to be fixed. It can vary. And this is going to be a very big problem, because we know that in our general machine learning model, whatever model we have considered till now, only take the fixed number of inputs. So this is the biggest problem with the sequences. Whenever we are going to deal with the sequences, the biggest problem that comes to us is this, that the variable size of this particular input. So, but however, we see that when the things are not, if things are of this sequence nature, such as voice, text, video, they don't have the same number of data points. Okay. And very important thing is this, that even if we consider, for example, let's consider that it is a text and there are some words. So if it is a text, it would contain some words. Words would be related to each other in a very complex way. For example, if I ask this question to you, okay, read this for me. Agra is a great place. One should go there and visit what? Can you fill in the blanks? Can anybody write? Visit what? Athar, what we should visit? Miloni, what you should see? Taj Mahal. We should see Taj. So you can see that there is a right answer that you see over here. Without, I'm not telling you that what to, because if you go to the Agra, you should also see that there could be many things. I'm not telling that it should be only Taj. There could be multiple things. But you know that because of the context, because of the things that we are talking about, you have filled the right answer. The issue is this, that if I change this Agra to Delhi, or Agra to say France. If I say this to the France, what would happen? What would come at the place of Taj? It would come maybe Eiffel Tower. So you can see that this particular item is dependent upon what is the place that is here. What is the item at this particular place? And it is far away. If you want to see that it is far away, you can see that how many words are there. So many words are in between. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 words there. There is a difference of the 10 words. So the long term, it is called the long term dependency. Means what is going to come over here is not only dependent upon this particular thing, but it is also dependent for very long distance thing. We want to do multiple things when a sequence is given to us, such as sometimes we want to, if it is a speech, we want to understand that what he is telling, somebody, what the person is telling, who is telling, okay, who is speaking. Sometimes if the stock values are given to us, we want to predict that what is going to be next. So these things are very important. So very important thing is this over here, that first that you have to take care of the long-term dependencies, and also variable number of inputs. You have to handle the variable number of inputs when you are going to handle these kind of things. So therefore, modeling a sequences becomes a very important task, that how can you model over here. So as I told you that if you just consider the fixed length, one suggestion the person generally gives, that if the sequence is there. So since you cannot handle the variable number of things in your machine learning model, it takes only, for example, if it takes 5 inputs, it only take 5 inputs. No, it would not take 6 things. So one suggestion is this, that if the input is long, you just take the first 5 thing or last 5 thing, whatever. So, but this method is not good because it would not be able to model the long-term dependencies. There is another very interesting model sometimes people talk about, that is called the bag of word model. It tells that and very interesting model. Sometimes what happens now, well, let's assume that you have a dictionary. Dictionary is a very big thing. All the words are there. But let's assume, but you know that everybody is not using all the words. You will be only using a subset of that particular dictionary, because we don't use all the words. So let's assume that there is a big vector that represent that what are the words I'm going to use. Let's assume that these are the words I use. So let's assume 10,000 words I use. So I create a vector of 10,000 word long, and if something is written over there, I find out what are the words over there, and I put those bits. Initially, all the bits are 0, and I only put switch on those bits which are there into the input text. So by this, what I can do, that whatever variable length you can give me as a text, it can be directly related to a single thing that is going to have the same kind of size. This particular model is called the bag of word model, and is a common way to represent the things. However, there is still a problem that that if these kind of models we are going to use, one issue that can immediately come is this, that the order actually doesn't matter. Here, if I because everything I'm going to put based on the words only, so order actually vanishes. What does it mean? It means that if I write, for example, consider these two statements. David is good at math, but he is bad in science. Okay, so David is good in math and bad in science. So math is good, math is up, and science is bad. But if I exchange this bad and good over here, the statement becomes David is bad at math, but is good at science. You can see that the complete meaning of the things actually have reversed. It has changed the meaning. However, if you see that what is the representation, what is the bag of word representation, you can see the representation is the same. So there are these kind of problems that you cannot directly use bag of words model over here. So you should think something different. We have to keep in mind that we have to deal with the variable size input, maintain the sequence order, keep track of the long-term dependencies, and share the parameter across the sequences. So these are the things, because you have to take the properties. These things are very important. Any questions till now? So I am going to show you a very interesting idea. And this idea is called the recurrent networks, RNN, recurrent neural networks, RNN. Any question till now? Okay. So let's assume that there is a neural network. So what is this? This is a neural network. So this is the neural network. This is what is a neural network. Neural networks has an input. What is the input? This is the input. 1, 2, 3. Let's assume that whatever input we provide, we provide it at the time t. Let's also assume that it takes 1 minute to 1 unit of time to do the computation and give you the output. So you would be getting some output at the time t plus 1. Make sense? So RNN actually imply a special kind of structure that tells that I would maintain the state by adding 2 more states over here. So, and this is not connected to, and this particular state is not connected to the output. So whatever is there, it is actually there. So you can see that into the same way, it is also connected over there. And this is a new input that has not been provided, because in your database, in your input, only this is the input. This is not the input. But I'm going to tell that there is one more input. So how can I get the value of this input? I can say that in the next time, this value is going to be entered over here. Okay. So I'm telling that initially this value is fed as 0, but at the time, but when you get some value over here, in the next time you are going to use the same value to feed over here. This kind of small change, if you do this kind of small change, it has a very deep implication. We are going to talk about that. But let us just now tell that this particular structure is called the recurrent neural network, or RNN. So everybody Can you tell me that? Are you clear about this architecture? Just understand this architecture. What is the properties of this architecture? We will be talking later. Okay, very soon. In the next slide, we are going to talk about this. Whether this thing is clear, that I am going to maintain one more hidden state that is not used for anything, only for maintaining that what was there. Next time, I would use this value as an input. Okay. So what would happen essentially? Okay. So what would happen? That you know that this is the architecture that now we have. Now we have this kind of architecture. Any questions on that? Initially, let me put 0 over here just for the sake of convenience. So if at the time t, everybody please focus on this very important slide. At the time t, I am going to feed what? X at the time t. I am going to get y at the time t plus 1. After 1 minute, I would be getting y. Make sense? Yes. Can you write yes? Miloni, Atharva? Yes? Okay. Can you tell me that what this value is? What this value is? This value is coming from here. So let's assume that few minutes back, when I have provided a t minus 1, because right now I'm providing what input at the time t. When I have provided the input t minus 1, at that time this value has been computed. And then this value is going to be fed over here. Can you see this? This value is fed over here. Okay. So this value is available at this particular place. So if you just consider this particular part, so here the output is not only dependent on what is input at this particular place, but also dependent on what was the state here, and this was dependent upon the time that was previous. Okay. And in this particular sense, if I say that what is the input, what is the output at this particular place, it also takes care of this particular input. And this input is again coming from the previous time t minus 2. So you can think that this output is not only dependent upon this value, but also on this value, but also on this value. So you can keep on unfolding until you are comfortable. So you see that this kind of architecture actually get unfolded. Whether it is clear to everybody? Miloni, Atharva? Whether this is clear? This kind of architectures actually give you a kind of understanding that things are actually unfolded. Then you can think that whatever the output at this particular place is actually a function of not only the input at this particular moment, but also what was happened earlier and everything that has been fed to the network. So this kind of small chains gives us a handle to consider everything that has been supplied to my network till now. Whether it is clear, Athar, Miloni? Yes, great. So by this way, the RNN, this architecture that we have just seen, incorporate history. Okay. So there are various arrangements that are possible and based on the requirement that you have. This is a very important slide. Sometimes you have the requirement such as 1-to-1, where I'm going to talk about that this is what my unit is. So sometimes it may be possible that you want to provide some input and you want to get some output. For example, what should be the next word? So for example, if you want to write a story, you provide the first word and then the next word would be provided by the network, and you provide that word, it would give next word. You keep generating all the word until you get the end of line, end of file character over here. So by this you can generate the things. Make sense? If you want to generate a text, for example, if you want to write a story, very interesting idea. If you want to write a story, you just write hi, and then next word would be provided by this network, and then provide this thing into the network and it would provide next word, and it would keep giving you something until your story get completed. When you get the end of line, you can stop. Sometime one input, multiple output you want. So such as into the captioning, into the image is provided and you want to find out the caption. Caption could be a line, and input is just an image. Segmentation and classification. For example, if you want to provide the sequence and want to tell, for example, tweet is provided and you want to tell that whether it is a fake tweet or not, fake or genuine tweet. So the input is going to be a big sequence, but output is going to be whether it is going to be a fake or not. What is the sentiment? Sentiment is positive or negative, or some kind of classification. What is the language in which the person is speaking? So this is the third requirement, where I am going to provide the sequence getting the one output. Here image is provided, the sequence is as output. Every time one input, one output is going to be there. And the fourth one is many to many, where, for example, I am going to provide the Hindi words, and somebody is going to give me what is inside the English or Chinese or French. So one sequence I am going to input, and another sequence I am going to receive. Okay. So that's a very interesting idea. So we can write the same thing if you want to represent this as an mathematical notation. You can go ahead in this way. Please concentrate on this. RNN, if you want to design, so let me say that it is going to be a class that is going to, it's a Java syntax. You know that RNN dot step means if you provide something to this particular thing, it is going to give you that what is the value that you are going to obtain. Understand? This is the basic architecture of the RNN. So you can think like this, that what was the state in previous state? What is the previous state? This value. Okay, what is this value? You provide the state that is the hidden. Actually, you provide this into the hidden way. So let's assume that there is a unit. Whatever x you are going to provide at this particular time, it is multiplied by u to find out that what should go inside. You are using the previous state, you are multiplying with the w. And by doing these, by using these two things, you can tell that what is the value of Sn. Makes sense? What is the next state? And if you want to find out what is the output at this particular time, you can again utilize the same thing. What is input? What was the previous value? What was the w, to find out what is the value over there. So this is a function that tells that using w and s, what is the state, what is the w. So you multiply these two things, and then you multiply these two things, what are the u and w, and you are going to add these two things, and you can apply a transformation function to find out that what is the next state. Makes sense? How to find out the next state? Input is u is multiplied by xn. So this is the one value. From here it is coming Sn minus 1 is multiplied by with the w, and these two things are then added. Then you get that what is the value over here, and then you apply a sigmoid or tanh or whatever activation function. Here it is applying tanh. So to see that what is the value, what is the next state we have. If you want to find out what is the output at this particular place, so you know that what is the hidden state. You just say that on the what is this particular value, you multiply with the Sn. So v multiplied by Sn is going to give you that what is the output at this particular place. Very simplified notation, and we are going to follow this for some time. Once again, this very simplified thing. You know that this architecture into the RNN, what is input? Right now, what I'm providing, what was earlier, these things are multiplied with the to transform these values with the w and u. So u multiplied by xn, w multiplied by s minus 1. These two multiplication, and then these terms are added, and then you apply a tan h on that. I think I have forget to apply over here. Okay, bracket is missing. So you find out that what is the next state, and you know that when you know the states, you multiply Sn with the v to find out that what is the output that is there. This particular thing is clear to everybody. I think this is the most important crux of this particular lecture. Is it clear? Can you write yes? Yes? Say yes or no. Miloni, Goranj. Okay, very good. Excellent. So let me give you a very simple example. That is a character level language model. What is character level language model? I'm going to give you example of a character level language model. So here my understanding is this. Let's assume let's assume that we have only 4 words in our system. I think I should mark it, okay, so that I can correct it. Yeah. Let's assume that we have a system where H, E, L, O. These are the only 4 words that are there. Okay, let's assume that there are 4 words are there. So how can I make the codes for them? Because in the computer, if you want to feed H, you have to provide a code for that. A very important slide, very important thing I'm going to discuss. Okay, where I am here. Let me add one more thing. Add page. Okay. What I wanted to tell, let's assume that in your space H, E, L, O, these are the 4 words. So can anybody tell that what should be the code for H? How would you feed H into the system? Definitely you have to find out some code. One method is ASCII, ASCII code. You can use the ASCII code of H. Everybody is okay with that? Gaurash Miloni, sorry, I'm sorry. Atharva. Everybody is okay with that? So, but you know that only 4 words are there. So why should we go for the ASCII code? It is going to take 8 bits. Any other way? Any other better way? Any other better way? We can use smaller codes, no? Any idea what code I can use? Can I use 00 for H? 01 for E, 10 for L, 11 for O. Is it also right? Yes. This code is better because instead of providing 8 values, I have to provide only how many values? 2 values. So it is right. Is it a right code? Yes? No? Confused? Atharv, is it a right thing that instead of using 8-bit code, I am going to use this 2 bits code? Is it right? Yes or no? No? Yes? Okay, Miloni, is it fine? Sir, what about other letters? Okay, very good. Excellent question. So a few minutes back, I told you that let's assume that we have only these 4 words in our word. I'm not going to use any other word. Okay, we started like that. That let's assume only 4 words are there. Then this is fine. Okay, everybody is okay with that. Okay, all right. But there is an issue, and this is very important. Let me tell you that this kind of encoding is not good for the machine learning system. Why? The reason is this, that if you see this, you can see that H is less than E is less than H, E is less than L, H is less than O. So there is a relationship that get built if you put these things into this particular way. Can you see this? However, in their sense, it is nonsense because in the actual thing, it is nonsense. But since we are going to put the values, so these values, because you know that if you consider them as an integer thing, then because input is going to have sense. Input is not going to be a nonsense thing because if you are providing something to the neural network, it is going to make sense of that and going to give you the answer. And this sense has inherent property that there is a ordering. Do you also see any ordering between E, H, E, L, and O into the real in their real understanding? Do you see that there is any ordering? Answer is no. There is no ordering. But because of my encoding, this kind of ordering actually is going to come. That's why when we are going to deal these kind of scenarios, we say that we are not going to give them any character, any kind of advantage. So we say that we are going to, since 4 items are there, I am going to use a 4-dimensional vector, and everywhere I am going to say that every location is going to be given for a item. So let's assume that this I'm going to use the 4-dimensional vector H, E, L, and O. I say put here 1, then it becomes that input is H. If I put 1 at this particular place, it becomes E. So 1, 0, 0, 0. For L, it is 1, 0, 0, 0. And for O, it is 0, 0, 0, 1. So this is the new kind of encoding. This is the new kind of encoding. This is the new kind of encoding. And this encoding has a name called one-hot encoding. So we are going to use this one-hot encoding. Why? Because we don't want to impose any kind of ordering between the items. Make sense? Okay. So let us come back to our discussion. A simplified version of RNN can be seen into this particular way, that RNN is there. You are going to provide an input at the time 1. State 0 is 0. And you are going to get some state output. So whether it is clear to everybody that I am going to provide some input is multiplied by U. So x1 into U plus S0 into W. Then you apply tan H or whatever activation function you are going to get by this, you are going to get S1. If you want to find out the output, what is the value of Y, then you say that V is multiplied by S1. You by this, you are going to get the output. So the simplified version says that that in this way you are going to get all these values, and then S is fed to the with the next value, and you are going to get the output and next state, and this in this way every time it is going to change, and you are getting the values. Value of Y you can obtain by multiplying with the V and S. Forget about the transpose. For transpose would always be there to find out the proper multiplication. And this, so an equation on this particular setting, everybody is okay that if you want to find out the state, you can find out in this way. You can find out the output, you can find out into this way. This formula is clear to everybody. So I just missed one thing, and that was a very interesting thing. Okay. Yeah, on this particular slide, I missed one thing. And coming back, I'm going to tell you one more thing. So this slide, everybody, please focus. Here, let's assume that I want to develop a system that if I provide H, it should give E. If I provide E, because output was E, I provide the H, E at that particular time, it would give me L. Then I provide this thing again L, it should give L. Then I again provide L, it should give O. I provided L, it gave L. Then I provided L, it gave O. How come? Because it is going to take care that what is happening previously. So by this I can get the output that H, E, L, L, O. So I get the output as a L, hello. Let's assume that I want to make a system like this. Can I make it like a system like this? So what's the issue? Yes, I can make it. If I can find out the right parameters, so my system can do these kind of things. Now you may be thinking that looks like a magic. That whatever I am going to give, it is going to give me the next word. That what I'm feeding, it is going to give me this thing, and by this I'm generating something. After, if I feed O, it is going to give me null, means stop here. So by H I got hello, complete sequence. So in this way we do the generations. All right. So we have talked about that there is something called the one-hot encoding. So H, how can the H can be feeded? 1000. Hey, everybody is okay with that? I can feed it into 1000. Say yes or no? Because this is encoding, na? What's the problem? Athar, is it yes? Let's assume that the hidden layer has these values. It is multiplied by you here. You know that what is multiplied. So there are U vector, W vector, previous values. They are multiplied. You got the state, and you multiplied something, and by this you got the value of V. Let's assume that this is the output. So you know that only words are H, E, L, L, O. If this is given, then what does it mean? It makes no sense. 1, 2, -3, and 4.1. So let me write like this: HELO. So this is the first bit, this is second bit, this is third bit, this is the fourth bit. So if you see this, where is the maximum value? Maximum value is at this particular place. So the output is, what is the output? Output is O. If this is the output, then the output is O. Can you understand this? Then you have to provide here O and find out what is the next value. Let's assume that you know that what should be the right output, and therefore you had, instead of this O, you provided E, because you know that this is the input. So what you expect when you provide E, you got these values 0.3, 1.2. Again, the maximum is 1.2. So again, you are going to get as an output what? O. HE, then again you want to say that in the same way you say that, okay, I know that actual value should be L, you provide L over here. And by this L, then you get this value. Let's assume that you obtain this value here, maximum is 1.9. And therefore you got the L as an output. This is the correct output, very good. Then you again provide L as an input. You got this output again here, 2.0 is maximum. So again you got O. So what is your sequence? HOOLO. This is the sequence that you got. Okay. Is it the right sequence? No, this is not the right sequence. Right sequence should be HELLO. Why I am going to get these values? Why I am getting these values? Because these parameters are not correct. I can say like this, na? But this correct. It looks like that these parameters are not correct. If somebody can correct these parameters, then I would be getting hello. How to correct these things we will be talking about. So everybody understand this, that this particular network is not going to give me the right value. This particular network is not going to give me the right value. Okay, are you happy with that? Are you able to understand this, that this particular network is not going to give you the right value? If the right parameters are there into the network parameters, then you should be getting HELLO. Everything, everybody is, are you sure about this? Everybody, any questions? Any questions on that? That this network, I told you that what is the right behavior of this network and how you are going to get the output HELLO. If you are not going to get the HELLO anything else, then you'll be seeing that what value need to be on this input, what should be the parameter you are going to actually change this parameter in such a way so that this value becomes HELLO. This is called the learning. How to do the learning, we will be talking about later. So we have talked about that in this way the things are going to happen. You are going to provide one by one input and going to get the one by one output. Okay. So how can you define that? What is the loss into this particular system? So loss would again not be a single loss, because you say that what you expected here and what you got, what you expected here, what you got, everywhere you got the loss. In the previous sequence, at every time you are seeing that when the value was different, it was a loss. So how many loss are there? At every time, at the time t, if you got, for example, if you got the last 1, last 2, last 3, last 4, I say that j. So summation of this value is going to give me the total loss. I want to minimize this total loss. Okay. So this j value, if you want to define the j value, so you see that what is the out value, what is the right value, what is the probability of the output, and you apply some minus log on this, and you can say that it could be something like that, my probability of the right output, and you want to maximize that. So this is the final thing, that this is the last function. So again, how to train that? You know that training can be done using what? Gradient descent kind of method called back propagation. You can again use the same mechanism that we have seen in the last class. You can apply the back propagation on using this kind of loss function to change the parameters so that they are going to maximize the probability that you should get at that particular time. So training is done using back propagation. And you know that the back propagation says that the weight should be modified by what? That gradient of that particular last function with respect to the weight. How to find out the gradient? You know that this particular function, few minutes back, we have seen that gradient is the summation of the gradient at that particular time. So you can write like this, that it is W minus alpha times summation of this particular movement. So let us this see this term closer. This can be also seen as the here the chain rule has been applied, and delta JI divided by SI state at that particular time. How the state is changing, we are also going to consider that particular thing. Not going into the much detail, this particular quantity that SI upon W can be seen because it's a complex value. You know that this value is actually dependent upon the previous values. So ultimately you get a complex kind of equation. It is written over here. I am not going to the much detail. But what is important is this, that when you find out that what is the derivative of the particular state with respect to the previous state, it is a multiplication of the very large quantity actually. Okay, and therefore there are few important issues that come into our understanding, and the issue is this, that that is called the vanishing and the exploding gradient. So there is a power problem at my side at this particular moment. I think we can continue from this particular point into the next class. If you have any question, please let me know. So I would stop here because there is a power problem, and I don't know that whether I'm correctly communicating you with or not. So I would stop at this particular moment. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining.